guys, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I'm going to be answering some really common asked questions about ADHD, and they're going to be questions based around, you know, what children may ask what ADHD is, and some adults, you know, what is ADHD. So I'm going to be answering some well-known common questions about ADHD. So today's video is, you know, I wanted to do it because I get asked so many questions on my blog page about, you know, what is ADHD, what is masking, and I get asked all sorts of questions, and I just want to answer them in my own words, and I want to give my personal answers and experiences to back up what I think they are. So yeah, I hope you enjoy, so let's get on with the video. So, some of the most frequent asked questions about ADHD are, what is attention deficit hyperactive disorder? You know, that's a really common question that everyone with ADHD gets asked. You know, every time that you may tell someone that you have ADHD, they say, what's that? Or, you know, I thought you grew out of that. You know, questions like that are what I want to answer today. And since doing my research, I wanted to get things scientifically right, so I'm using my university course to help me, you know, just make sure I'm giving you 100% the right answer. It says, ADHD is described as a condition whereby those who have it demonstrate difficulty in regulating their behaviour according to social expectations, specifically in the areas of movement, speech, impulsivity and attention. Generally, symptoms are observed by the age of 7, although many are diagnosed much later. Some people aren't diagnosed until much later in life. So that kind of gives you like a brief explanation of what ADHD is. So, you know, we can work with that. So ADHD is really common. Well, it's said to be very common, especially in males. They show more of the more stereotyped you know, symptoms, you know, being hyperactive, you know, bouncing off the walls and being quite loud and boisterous. They show more of those hyperactivity and, you know, they show those type of traits more than a child, like a child who is female would. And that is why females usually go undiagnosed or undiagnosed. So yeah, ADHD is a way of your mind. It doesn't know how to act appropriately. It doesn't know how to control your anger. You know, it's just all these emotions are running around your head, and it's like racing thoughts. So it's like being in a loud room, right? And you're trying to focus onto one thing, and everything is so loud, and you know, you're almost trying to lip read what someone is saying whilst everyone else is shouting. So you're trying to zone into one thing. And my thoughts are like shouting all the time, and you're like trying your hardest just to focus on what you're meant to be focusing on. But there's so much going on in your head that it's impossible just to focus. That's how it feels for me. And, you know, that's how I would describe what ADHD is. And, you know, there's probably many other explanations of what ADHD is, but for me, it's just feeling very messy and loud in my head. So, the next question, the next common question that I get asked is, I thought only boys could get it, who gets it? So, my answer to that is, anybody can get it. It doesn't matter what gender, what age you are, what, you know, what race, what religion you believe in, doesn't matter, you know, if you're, I don't know, it doesn't matter anything, anyone could get it, you know, it doesn't, ADHD is not picky on who or, you know, what type of person gets ADHD. So, like I say, anybody can get ADHD. It's not picky on who has it or not. But here's some facts about who can get it. So, symptoms can differ between boys and girls. So they're different. They're not, you know, they're not all going to be the same. And not everybody with ADHD will show, you know, being hyper or being really loud and boisterous. Not everybody will show those types of traits. So, boys get diagnosed about 6 times more frequently than girls, which is shocking really, because, you know, there's a lot of females out there with ADHD, including myself, and, you know, it's quite sad to think that there may be more females out there struggling, and I know how hard it is sometimes with, you know, hormones, the menstrual cycle, all of that sort of stuff, and ADHD on top of that. That is really, it can be really tricky sometimes, and, you know, I feel so sorry for some of the girls that are maybe not diagnosed or misdiagnosed, because it can be really hard. So, some studies have shown the ratio of boys to girls is 4 to 1. So for every 4 boys, there's 1 girl with ADHD. And some other studies have found the ratio to be even more, so it can be like 9 to 1. So for 9 boys, there's 1 girl with ADHD, which is crazy. So boys are always significantly more likely to be diagnosed with ADHD than girls. So, you know, it's kind of tricky, isn't it? You know, if girls are showing some signs, you know, schools or doctors may blow it off as, you know, hormones or anxiety. But with boys, they're more than likely to get the diagnosis of ADHD kind of the first time, whereas girls may have to go longer without a diagnosis because, you know, we're more able to kind of fit into the environment or social situations as we adapt to using, you know, masking as a way of controlling our ADHD symptoms. Girls are more likely to have the inattentive type of ADHD without the hyperactivity, which I don't agree with, because I have the combined type of ADHD, so, and I'm a girl, so that's kind of saying, you know, I'm not likely to have that, but I do have it. I'm very hyper, you know, as I'm talking now, I can't shut up, and my mind talks, you know, my mind says something and my mouth can't catch up with it, and I hyper focus a lot. So that to me isn't necessarily true, because I feel like girls are just as more likely to have the combined type than the boys, if that makes sense. But like it you know, it just kind of says that girls are less likely to be diagnosed, which is okay, but it is still a problem because there are girls out there with ADHD. So I would love to be able to raise the awareness of ADHD also being in girls. So if you have ADHD and you're a female watching my videos, you know, comment down below and let me know. We can maybe, if you're a YouTuber, we can do a collaboration and we can get our feelings out there and kind of, you know, compare our symptoms and our traits so that we can let people know that, you know, we have ADHD and we also get some traits that boys are more likely to get. So the next question is, what are the symptoms of ADHD? So, you know, I've got a whole range of symptoms of ADHD. You know, none are the same as somebody else's. I was on a podcast last night with the YouTuber Me and ADHD. He's a great American YouTuber. You know, he's fantastic. And, you know, we were speaking about our similarities in our symptoms. But, you know, we're not the same and they're completely different. So, you know, everyone has different types of ADHD and different traits, different triggers. But I'm going to tell you the stereotyped scientifical traits in a second, but I'm also going to tell you my traits. So, some of the more stereotyped ADHD traits can be being constantly disorganised. I mean, I personally am so disorganised. I'm crazy when it comes to that. You know, if you tell me to be somewhere, I'll be 10-15 minutes late without a doubt. So always tell me, you know, 15 minutes later so that I get there on time. I'm crazy when it comes to, like, organisation. Being forgetful, being easily distracted, 1000% me. Frequently leaving tasks unfinished, me. Fidgeting, twirling hair, playing with clothing, me. Impatient, me. Talking non-stop, me. Frequently interrupts, yeah, that is me. Social awkwardness, me. Frequently losing belongings, me. And I blame my dad. You know, I always try to blame somebody else and I'm like, yeah, don't worry Dad, I'm sorry, it was definitely me that moved it or lost it. Destructive behaviour, 1000% me. I was always kicked out of class, I was kicked out of school, excluded, pupil referral units. You know, that was me. I was always disruptive in class. Clumsy, yes. I have a real bad ankle now because I was just standing still and I turned around and my ankle, like, I rolled my ankle so bad that, like, even a week later it's still black and blue and it's like, ow. So yeah, I'm pretty clumsy. Poor listening skills. I don't necessarily have poor listening skills. I can listen to people, but you know, I'm not rude, but if I don't want to listen, then I won't listen. I'm a picky listener, I'd say I am. Always active, running, jumping and climbing. Yes and no. I can have days where I want to be out, like, yeah. But other days, I don't want to move. I'm just like, nah, can't be bothered. So yeah. Saying inappropriate things, that is me. I don't mean to, like, I'll say something and then someone will be like, that was really rude, and I'm like, was it? I didn't mean to. I don't mean to be horrible. Daydreaming, me, 100,000%. That is me. But like, I've written down here because I find this part really, really important. So I'm going to tell you what I wrote for my final assessment on my evaluation of the ADHD like symptoms and triggers. So I put, it's important to remember that every child with ADHD doesn't have the same like types of symptoms, and one time or another is likely to have, or at least one or many of the above symptoms. Impulsiveness, hyperactivity, restless legs are normal childhood behaviours and are not necessarily a cause of concern. Because I've found that, you know, if a child misbehaves like a couple of times, parents are quick to jump and say, oh my god, my child's got ADHD, or oh my god, my child's autistic, you know. People are really quick to jump to that conclusion, and I think it's quite a dangerous thing to kind of like jump straight to, as, you know, children need to be able to express themselves. You know, children get frustrated because they aren't able to like communicate as well as adults on how they're feeling, if they want to drink, if they're hungry. You know, children aren't great at communicating without ADHD, you know, and with ADHD it's going to be even worse. So always give your child a chance to explore and experiment with communication. So if your child plays up, you know, sit back and ask yourself, like, why is my child doing that, and how can I make it easier? Like, if you find a pattern of behaviour, then you need to kind of keep a note of it and try and make that situation easier so that the pattern is broken. And I think that's so important. I honestly want people to remember that it's normal for children to act out. You know, it's totally normal for children to have temper tantrums. So I've picked out some questions that are frequently asked by children to their parents when they've like been recently diagnosed. So the first question that children ask is, what is ADHD? I would try and, you know, almost, you know, say it's a superpower, you know, try and get them to understand that, you know, just because if they have a label, it's not necessarily, they're not at a disadvantage, you know, because people with ADHD and children with ADHD are always at a disadvantage of those, you know, people and their peers around them that don't have ADHD. We are always, you know, we are always a step or two steps behind the people of our year groups, our friendship groups. And that could be immaturity levels, academically, you know, anything like that. So I would try and explain it as a superpower. I would say, you know, try and use your disadvantages as an advantage and use your disabilities as your ability to you know, get along in life. So that's how I would approach it. So I would say, so ADHD is, you know, it's a superpower that has been put in your head, and not a lot of other children have it, you know. It's not everyone has this superpower. So when you can't sit still and you can't, you know, you get a little bit angry, that's ADHD, you know, that it's your little superpower in your head making you feel a little bit angry, or, you know, that you want to be running around and jumping around. I would also, you know, try and tell them that doesn't make you different, and it certainly doesn't make you strange. You're exactly you, you know, you haven't changed, and you were born this way, and you're perfect, you're special, you're perfect the way you are. ADHD is not something that you need to be scared of. It's not something that, you know, is going to hurt you. It's okay. And you'll be fine. You're okay. You're not ill. You're not sick. You haven't hurt yourself. You're going to be absolutely okay. And mummy's here or daddy's here. You know, we're here to support you, and social teachers. Everyone, you know, everyone knows you have ADHD, and that's fine. That's okay. And ADHD is only an extra, you know, ingredients into your mind. So another question that children, you know, sometimes ask is, does ADHD mean you are stupid? No, absolutely not. It does not mean you're stupid at all. It makes you, you know, a lot of really, really smart people have ADHD. There's famous people, you know Harry Potter, Hermione Granger, I think that's her, Harry Potter's friend, the girl, she has ADHD, and she is amazing, isn't she? She's in Harry Potter, she's an actress. You know, ADHD hasn't stopped her from becoming famous and being a celebrity. You know, you could be an astronaut, you could be, you know, anything you want to be, a science person, you know, you could be anything you want to be. ADHD does not mean you're stupid. You can achieve everything you want, and ADHD can help you do that as well, you know. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. ADHD is definitely on your side. So yeah, don't ever think you're stupid if you have ADHD. Like, it doesn't affect your intellectual abilities, you know. It doesn't mean that you're stupid. It doesn't mean that you're dumb. It just means you have a little bit of extra ingredients, you know, and that makes you you. It doesn't matter. It's not bad. You're going to be okay. So one of the biggest, you know, inventors has ADHD, or had ADHD. His name's Thomas Edison. So he invented the light bulb, you know. We'd be like sitting in the dark. If he didn't invent the light bulb. So, you know, he's not stupid. He made something that is really great and he's changed our life.
We'd all be sat in the dark
if we didn't have Thomas Edison with ADHD make and invent a light bulb. See, without him, we'd all be sat in the dark. So people with ADHD are great, they're intelligent, and they come up with great and creative ideas, which, you know, that's a bonus. Not a lot of people can think outside the box, and you can, and I can, and we are great, you know. Don't ever think you're stupid, because you're not. Trust me, you are not. So another question that a lot of like young children ask is about like taking the medication and the tablets. And you know, I was 21 when I was diagnosed, and I didn't want to take tablets. I was really petrified of like the effects and how I would feel. I was worried I was going to feel like a zombie. I was so like worried and, you know, anxious about taking it, that I can imagine what it's like for a 7-8-year-old to think like, I have to take tablets. Am I weird? You know, and that's not the case. Medication can do great things for you. It can make it easier for you at school. It can make you, you know, be able to relax and watch a film with your mum and dad. It can help you, you know, it can help you do a lot of things that you can't do without medication. And yes, there are some side effects. You know, they're everything. There are always side effects in life, you know. You can always, even if you're picking, you know, a film that you've never seen before, if you pick to watch it, you may not like it. And if you don't watch it, then you might be upset that you missed out on a great film. So, you know, everything you do in life comes with a consequence or a side effect. So don't worry about that, because these tablets aren't going to hurt you. You know, the doctors wouldn't allow you on them if, you know, if they were bad. So try not to worry about the bad stuff, and think about the benefits and the good things that medication could bring to you and your family. It could help make family life a little bit better. You may be able to go out with your family on fun days and really enjoy it as a family. You might be able to start going to the cinema because you can sit still more and watch the film. You may be able to make, you know, more friends because you're a little bit calmer. And you should never feel like you have to take medication to fit in, because you shouldn't have to. A couple of things that I personally have been asked loads of times is, well, is ADHD a disability? Is it a learning disability? What is it? So to me personally, I believe that ADHD is actually, you know, a learning disability, and I do also believe it's a disability, as, you know, our effects are long-term, and they're negative effects, you know. They do make things harder for us, you know. They're not giving us a boost up. They're definitely kind of like pushing us down sometimes, you know. And I find it hard to keep routines, so like brushing my teeth, having a bath every day, or shower, or cooking dinner, anything like that, I find extremely hard because I can't prioritise these things. I would rather sit down and watch Netflix than cook dinner. I would rather watch Netflix than brush my teeth. I would rather watch YouTube than brush my hair. You know, all this sort of stuff I find hard, and it should almost be natural and simple, but it's not, is it? It's crazy. It's more of a, it's almost like you're asking me to learn to do something that is, you know, out of this world. You're asking me to solve, you know, how Molly, you need to tell me how to get world peace. That is how it feels to me when you ask me to do something simple. I'm like, I don't actually know how you would do world peace, and in my head there's questions like, what is world peace? Who done this? Who done that? What's this? What's that? What's this? What's that? You know, there's no simple answer. There's always things like, I'm not good enough to do that. You know, and rejection sensitivity is a huge thing. For me, personally, I suffer with this thing that, you know, people want me to start drawing for them. They want me to do things for them. And I never believed that I'm good enough to do it. I believe that I'm rubbish at everything, and the quality of my videos isn't good enough for you guys. And you know, if I don't get enough likes, I'll be like, I need to take it down, because I'm embarrassed that I haven't got likes, and I'm embarrassed of being rejected, and that's really hard with ADHD. You know, rejection is so hard, especially when you have ADHD. Even when you don't have ADHD, being rejected is not a nice feeling, you know, and we can take it very badly. It can knock our confidence. We can become depressed and like starve ourselves and punish ourselves because we're so angry that we're not good enough. But in fact, it's not our problem that someone doesn't like our drawing, you know. That's their opinion, and you know, and we don't take opportunities because we're scared of taking that step, and we always almost shy away from, you know, opportunities that kind of make us vulnerable. You know, with my drawing, it's almost like, you know, it's people can say they don't like it, you know, and that hurts me. You know, if someone says, I don't like your video, I don't like your drawing, I don't like your hair, to me that's like, oh my god, like that hurts me, that breaks my heart. And it's really hard sometimes to accept that people also have their opinions, and it is hard. But you know, in life not everybody's going to like you, so everyone needs to remember that, you know, just because someone doesn't like you, that doesn't mean you're a good person, and you're not, you know, a great person to have as a friend, or have as a girlfriend, as a boyfriend, you know, as a anything. It doesn't mean that you're a horrible person. That means that person, you know, is missing out on a great human being. Because ADHD, yes, it does come with flaws, and it does make people not like you. I'm not gonna lie, it makes people kind of think, oh, you know, why is that person so loud? Or why do they talk over me? How rude. But the people that see over those little things are the people that you need in your life. You don't want people, you know, picking out your flaws and telling you you're not good enough. No, you are good enough. They're not good enough for you. And remember that, you know, never let anyone tell you you're not good enough. Never let anybody say, you know, you need to change, otherwise I'm not being your girlfriend, I'm not being your boyfriend, I'm not being your friend. If that was me, I would say, alright, bye, there's the door. Because, you know, you have great, you know, you see life in a different, you know, in a different colour. You see things differently to other people, and, you know, that can be a great asset to a friendship, to a business, to anything. You know, you see things outside the box that other people don't see. So never put yourself down, because you don't need to. You are amazing. And yeah, I'm going to shut up now. But there's some questions that I wanted to answer, and I hope I've answered them for you. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time, and bye!